All right, let me hit record, make sure we're recording here. We are. All right. All right, Kumar.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience Throwback Edition with Chico, Simon, Kumar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
All right, welcome back to another episode of This Won't Age Well, where we go back, we listen to old episodes. What we do in the normal show. Due to this fucking virus and other things happening in the world, we're doing this via Zoom. So if you don't watch the video that I post, because for some reason it doesn't work or you don't care, the audio is going to be less than what you're used to. We apologize. These are the times we live in. Kumar, how was your week?
Fantastic week. Locked down there, Matty. Loving the government's work. Loving all the people's work. Staying away from each other. Hopefully this will end soon.
Che Guevara, how was your week?
Oh, just trying to stay safe, man.
Excellent. Good stuff. In the jungle, obviously.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Close location.
Spending time with the fam.
Simon even has a fucking South American flag up behind him.
Now we know where he's headed.
That's what it is, my brother.
The revolution will be televised. All right. Well, for this throwback, who chose this one? Simon?
Kumar.
Oh, Kumar. Excellent choice.
That'd be me, sir.
Excellent choice. So for this episode, Kumar chose Canadian astronaut Chris Hatfield. And it was episode number
414.
Thanks, Simon.
For all of these throwbacks, coincidentally, the three that we picked, I had never listened to any of the three.
Wow, really?
Yeah, how about that?
Interesting. I had listened
for
to
sure.
Go ahead, Kumar.
I just was saying for sure, you just didn't forget about him.
No, for sure.
Because I've listened to I remember listening to Hatfield when it came out, but I'd forgotten most of it because this was a fucking great episode.
Short and sweet as well.
Really, eh? That you thought it was a great episode?
Yeah, I actually thought, because I always kind of thought Chris Hatfield was going to be a dick.
Yeah, confirmed on this podcast.
Sure. Whether he's a dick or not, though, I learned a lot. Like, I took away a ton of stuff that I did not know about before. So,
like, I didn't know shit about Chris Hatfield, lieutenant, whatever the hell he is, colonel. But without knowing anything about him, I immediately assumed that this guy didn't believe in aliens. That was just my initial assumption.
So that's why he's an asshole?
No, he just seemed like a real company man. You know what I mean? Like towing the line.
They could have picked a better spokesperson.
Who's
the space program.
Oh, the space program. Okay.
So he had Kumar. He had a very successful biography, I guess.
Call it a book. That's what most people call them.
Sure. Fuck off. And he also had a very successful children's novel called The Darkest Dark. So he must have made a pretty little penny these past couple of years. And then I started wondering, how much do you think an astronaut makes?
That's a great question. I assume if you're up in the space station, you're not they have to. I mean, hazard pay alone. Not to mention,
it's not check to check.
Yeah. Not to mention, Simon. Like I don't know that's a good question.
Does anybody have their phone free?
I'm on my computer, but
so when you get a chance, just check the salary.
$150,000 a year.
There's no way. There's no.
I'm just guessing.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess too. I'm gonna say that a Canadian astronaut makes $120,000 a year, and an American astronaut makes like $400,000 a year.
I think what we're forgetting is that, like a lot of jobs, it has the opportunity for you to make an abundance of money once you leave.
Well, hence the
children books.
And
I don't even mean the children books, just speaking engagements alone. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you're that guy and you spent that much time in space, I feel like at that point you can, not like a president where you're making like $500,000 to go talk to bankers, But I assume he charges a pretty penny to do speaking engagements.
For sure. When he goes and talks to like make up a tech company, trust me, he charges a pretty penny to tell them about you know, fuck, I can't even think of
The old
word,
Hillary
but,
Clinton book tour.
See, this is crazy. It says NASA astronauts must pass a grueling application process before being selected. Their annual salaries are determined using a government pay scale and starting out fall under 2 grades, GS-12 and GS-13. According to 2018 government pay scales, an astronaut earns between $63,000 and $98,300 a year. That's fucked.
That's American or Canadian?
Who cares? Oh, that's Canadian.
No,
They're getting robbed.
That's Canadian.
No, that's according to the States. Oh, I'm getting an Amber Alert here. I take it you both got that Amber Alert, which is why. Yeah, you both got cut off there. Oh, we lost Simon. I think that's. I have to assume though that's just your base astronaut, like someone that. Oh my god, I keep losing both of you. This is fucking insane. Simon, stop fucking with your phone. Simon. Did you mute yourself, Simon? Oh my god. I can't hear either of you, so. Oh, this is fun. All right, give me a sec here. Neither of you are muted, so. Oh, that Amber Alert really fucked everything up, didn't it? This is great. This is fucking wonderful. Do neither of you have computers? Well, for the listeners, if you can hear me, this is what you call stellar podcasting. This is just the best of the best. Unmute Simon. Unmute Simon. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, this is so stupid. Come on, Chico. Come here. Oh, hey, buddy. How's your walk? How's the walk, pal? Oh, you're a good boy. I'm just doing the podcast.
Okay, I'm just doing a class.
It's okay. Just letting you know what I'm up to. Just recording myself rolling a fucking joint like a rube. Well, for anyone who's maybe stuck around for this nonsense, this is how you roll the perfect joint.
Do you think this will work in airplane mode?
Yeah, it has to work. Like I can hear you right now. It'll just stop all those bullshit pop-ups from coming through. Like another fucking... Dude, they can't be using this system for COVID. It's fucking ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. So stupid. can't hear you now, Kumar.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah, I just don't think
I don't
this.
know.
I don't think this is gonna fly.
Fucked it up.
Can't hear you.
Um, but hello?
Well, all I can say is you guys better fucking pray that I never end up in a coma, or this thing isn't going anywhere. Chico, stay there. It's okay, pup.
What, Matt, why did you tell me to go on airplane mode?
What?
Why did you tell me to go on airplane mode?
Because if you go on airplane mode, you shouldn't get any fucking messages at all.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
So they shouldn't be able to see. So you shouldn't get text, because it seems like any phone call you get or text. Kamar, I can't hear you. It seems like anything you get will interrupt this fucking thing, and then this is just going to make this untenable. Kamar, say something. Oh, Kamar's gone. Oh, this is fun.
I can hear you now.
I can hear you too.
Could you hear me that whole time?
No, couldn't hear you at all. Either way, I don't think this is going to work.
I don't think it works on airplane mode.
I mean, either way, we can't do it on cell phones. You guys, if you get a text or a call during this thing, the whole thing shuts down. So I just don't. Unless you guys can get access to a computer, we're up shit's creek here. As far as the video, we can record like a audio call, I guess. But
I'm going to try to switch to airplane mode to see if it works.
Okay.
And it just went away. But now you're back.
Is there no Wi-Fi where you are?
Yeah, I'm in great Wi-Fi.
Then the airplane mode should work. That's fine. There's no reason it shouldn't work.
You just disappear, but you can hear me now.
Yeah,
I just went radio silence a second ago.
Well, but you got to give it a sec for the Wi-Fi to catch up and everything, I think. I mean, I don't know, whatever. It's not working for Simon anyway, so like I said, it's a moot point.
He has really bad Wi-Fi where he is.
I lost you. I actually don't even think he has, I don't think he has any Wi-Fi in that shed. Oh, we have 2 Simons. This should be fun.
2 Simons?
Yeah. Now we only have 1.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, well, sorry. When I go to airplane mode, it just boots me out of the fucking Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. That's
Dude, I don't fucking know anything about anything, man.
you don't have a laptop you can use?
It won't work in here.
How is that possible that your Mac, your laptop won't work in your studio?
Because the internet connection doesn't make it out here for whatever reason.
Tether your phone to it.
Tether my phone to it.
You know what? I don't know why I said that. Forget it. Cancel. I can't. I'm not going to explain how to tether that shit. Forget it.
So where were we?
So you guys can see me all right?
No, can't see you at all. It just says iPhone
Oh.
Simon.
Oh yeah, because I can't see myself either. So what's that all about?
I think you pressed the button.
Yeah, no. I got it. Kamar, don't you worry. I'm gonna be there in 1 second.
I'm posting the entirety of this video so that all the listeners really know who the fuck runs shit here.
Yeah, it's pretty damning evidence.
Oh, as we lose Simon again.
Where did I fucking go now?
Stop touching your phone.
It's all good, man.
The only problem is like one more of these COVID things and the whole thing shuts down again. And they're going to be sending them all day.
Those fucking COVID things, cocksucking motherfuckers, we get it.
There's probably going to be another French one coming down the pipe.
That was the French one, I think.
No, it got English and French came out at the same time there.
No, I got two separate ones, an English and a French.
So yeah, they couldn't pick a better spokesperson, NASA. He's so poetic and elegant about his journey.
Yeah, a real company man.
But he wants to get off. He wants to get off Earth.
But hold on, Simon, a company man. He sat there and said that he believes, without any doubt, that there's other living things in the universe.
Sorry, Matt. I'm just kind of putting him up.
Oh, I get it. Sorry, I remember now. You're pissed because he doesn't believe that aliens might have helped ancient civilizations, and that's. I'm
just putting him up in comparison to like a Buzz Aldrin or something, who is pretty outspoken.
Who never even went to space? Yeah, you choose a non-astronaut.
Buzz Aldrin never went to space?
Come on, back me up here.
I cannot confirm or deny that, but I think it's more of a thing where they're like guys who are deep into science like this just don't even worry about aliens. That's the least of their worries because they're thinking about so many other things, and so they think it's frivolous to think about it. I think that's the party line you talk about, Simon.
Why is this guy like a super intellect?
He's an astronaut.
Well, sorry. What are the qualifications for being an astronaut? I just thought you had to be like in really good shape, and
Well, we know he's an
hold on.
pilot. He's a fighter pilot.
Anti-G gravity shit.
So Simon, let me get this straight. You think that they could just go to any gym, grab pretty much any jacked bro, and as long as he could pass the G-force tests, he's going to space? Is that?
No.
Okay.
That's not at all what I said. They come from the military. Excuse me.
But fighter pilots are the top of their class.
Yeah, I don't. Well, this is the thing I'm missing. Lieutenant Fravor, who is a pilot, is a super smart guy. Has to be. He's seen aliens. This guy's gone to space. He's just some meathead dummy.
My point was they come from the military. I assume like they're top of their class in like, I don't know, fucking the Marines or whatever, Air Force. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're fucking, Eric Weinstein, you know what I mean? Or Weinstein or whatever his name is. They're military dudes. And I'm not saying that military dudes aren't smart. That's not a qualification to.
Fine. But Simon, how about this? I would assume that going to spend time on the space station is probably like the top job. And they probably don't just give that to anyone. So I would assume that the people up there are the best of the best. Again, I'm making assumptions much like you, but
I assume that one of them is a pilot and one of them is a rock specialist and one of them is a this and one of them is a that. I don't know what he was. Was he the pilot, Hatfield? Yeah.
So why are
So
they
there you
sending?
go.
Why would they send a rock specialist up there? Just out of curiosity.
Well, because let's just say they're going to the moon. I'm just making this up now. Well, what?
No,
You
we're
don't-
talking about the space
Are
station.
you
We're
like
talking
a,
about this-
Are you a fun?
Well, we're
What?
talking about the space station. They're not making trips to the moon. You're just throwing out wild hypotheticals. We all listen to the same episode.
Okay. How about a meteor hits the space station and they manage to grab a piece of it? They need somebody to do the research on it. They have the rock guy up there.
I can see why he'd be there. Yes.
All right, I'll
Listen,
meet
in
you.
the science fiction movies, when they plan a trip somewhere, there's always a doctor, a rock scientist, whatever,
Bruce
Biologist.
Willis.
chaos theory guy. Oh no, wait, that's Jurassic Park.
Well, all his views on aliens aside, just describing being hurled out of the Earth's atmosphere with a big rocket on your back, I thought was super powerful and like it ain't no go-kart.
Well, it's crazy
How
thinking
about the
too.
Russian?
Sorry, so go ahead, Simon.
No, please, Maddie.
Okay, I was just gonna say quickly, it's crazy thinking too that like the whole time up, you think you'd like an airplane, you'd just be looking out the windows. Or just thinking like, don't die, don't die, don't die. Not the whole time you'd be like, okay, if this goes wrong, we gotta abort to here. If this goes wrong, we gotta abort to there. If this goes wrong, we gotta abort to there. Like just stuff like that I had never thought of. You think
the
it's all
different
automated.
checkpoints.
Yeah.
That's got to be highly intelligent.
Yeah. Like I just assumed that like sitting in the back of a plane, I even still to this day think that a pilot's up there, just hits a start button, and then the plane pretty much does it all. I mean, I know that a plane is different than a spacecraft, but I would have assumed that like Houston hits the button to fire it up, and then those guys just sit there until they get to space. But nope.
Well, isn't that the case? They don't really do shit unless there's a problem.
Yeah, but the point is that you have to be uber attentive the whole time. Yeah, you have to be like, is everything good? You
Yeah.
have to be checking the gauges, this, that.
They're not up there smoking space doobies, is what you're saying.
They're not time
I'm
for
sure.
that.
Well, hold on. There's probably a guy for that, Simon. They have to bring the pothead, right? If they have the rock
Well,
guy,
You got to see what it's like to be high in space.
I mean, I would assume. He brought. Isn't there a photo of him up there with a pound of weed? Is that fake?
I say
Pretty
that's fake.
sure that's fake. Why would they send a pound of weed up
I don't
No,
think we have to
the
look into
idea.
that.
I think the idea was that he had just brought a pound of weed up there. I don't think NASA was like, let's throw a pound of weed on. I think Chris
there? Well,
Hatfield,
you just asked if it was fake.
because there's a photo of it. So yeah, I gotta
Well,
ask.
do you think that Chris Hadfield brought up a pound of weed?
Let me ask you,
He's
Simon.
asking the important questions.
Let me ask you, Simon. If you become the rock guy and they send you up, are you not trying
Definitely
to smuggle up?
bringing up a pound. This guy's an asshole, though. Maybe they had to send the weed up to see how it, like if it molds or something. But why would they send a pound of it?
Well, if you're doing different experiments, you need more than just a bit of weed. You're not just going to bring a gram up, are you?
No, but you'd think maybe a couple ounces would be enough.
Well, that's what a pound is. A couple ounces.
Okay.
16, different
Very,
strains.
very confrontational today.
Well, I'm just saying, I would bring weed up. Sorry, go ahead, Kumar.
At the very beginning, he was talking about going to Mars, which we all know is something we're trying to do, and the closed loop system that has to be developed. Remember that?
Yeah.
Referencing closed loop system. So something that just applies itself that doesn't, we do not run on a closed loop system here on Earth. We constantly are just taking more and throwing it out like it's not. And that's where we have to get to, that kind of thinking just to survive, I think.
Can I point something out too? He was talking about how if we go to Mars and something happens on the flight there, how they would have to do an Apollo 13 type ricochet around. That to me seemed so suspect. Because think about it like this. Okay, the moon rotates around the sun, or around the Earth, excuse me, right? So the moon is always within a certain distance of the Earth. We know this to be true. The Earth and Mars are on different axes rotating around. So if and when we go to Mars, they have to launch at a certain time of year when the planets are closest together, right? Because you want to use the least amount of fuel and you want the trip to be the shortest. Once we leave Earth and we start heading to Mars, let's say we're halfway there and something goes wrong, I guess their hope is that Earth and Mars are realigned once they slingshot. But like, let's say you slingshot across Mars and Earth is on the other side of the sun. They're fucked. No one's getting back. That's it.
Mars is a one-way trip though.
Simon, what he was saying though was if on that one-way trip something went wrong, they could use the same principles to just ricochet them back around. But what I was saying, and I think he realized right away, like this is pretty untenable, was just that's not possible. It's a one-way trip in the sense that if something goes wrong, you die, and you also can't get back.
With current technology.
Yes, well, as you guys always point out, the X Factor could come along tomorrow, and we could just be standing on Mars. There you go.
Well, I find that hard to believe because what would you do when you got there? Just if you figured out how to get there fast, that doesn't solve all your problems.
I don't even think getting there fast solves a fraction of your problems. Mm-hmm. Like he said, there's no power source up there. There's no renewable power source up there. So unless we figure out a way, I don't know. Listen, I know
have to be solar.
I'm almost certain that we will not see a human being anywhere near Mars in our lifetimes, unless one of those other doctors about life extension was correct. Kamara, it just dawned on me too. You look like you're in a portable in like the Yukon. It looks like you went back to your roots.
I thought he was like in the Maritimes or something.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah, I mean there are
ocean. You know,
there's golf clubs in the background, so that kind of takes away the Yukon feel. But
no, they're out there playing. They set up their own little course.
Fair enough.
Those are actually beer cans.
Oh, bacon. Excellent.
Jamaican bacon.
Yeah. All right, back to Hatfield. Sorry.
How about Simon, your heart actually gets smaller when you're in space?
Less work it's doing.
Okay, well, the weirdest thing to me was that your body immediately starts shedding your skeleton through some evolutionary thing. That's insane.
Well, gravity's keeping everything in check.
Yeah, but the fact that
exactly.
Yeah, I get it. But he said there's something within the body where the second you get up there, because they do urine tests, your body starts pissing out tons of calcium. Tons. It's tough for me to believe that gravity is just keeping the calcium in you. It seems, again, I hate to do this, but that seems like a strong simulation theory strengthener.
We are who we are because we are.
Sure. Okay.
What he was talking
don't
about?
Sure him on that. Popeye.
What do your feet look like if there's no calluses whatsoever on them?
Yeah, who knows?
Like disgusting.
Just so
the
soft.
callus give them character. Yeah, like baby feet or something.
Like newborn mice.
Yeah. I assume. Well, no. Yeah. I assume they'd be like your hands because your hands aren't super calloused, right? Like it's the same kind of skin.
I think your hands are calloused, and we just don't even realize how calloused they are.
Fine, but the top of your hands,
and gravity, man.
I don't know.
Friction and gravity.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's insane to think that. It's crazy to think that it's a 6 month recovery if you want to go up there for that long, to only be paid. Go ahead.
That Russian spent 14 months in space.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's some serious social isolation.
That is the original social isolation.
That's how they know how to talk about it. And this must have been 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
No, what number was this?
414.
No, that's 1,000 episodes ago. That's got to be a lot longer than that. I'll check for you, but.
So like 8 years ago. And then we recently had the most recent astronaut on. And they're totally different guys.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Which one did you like better?
I think I like Commander Mark Hatfield's romanticism about it more than the meat and potatoes approach the other guy had. I forgot his name.
Kamara was 7.5 years ago. It was November 11th, 2013.
What slow progress you've made compared to cell phones?
No, because, well, I mean, I hate to jump, like Weinstein this week spoke about, I mean, we'll get to it later, but Cell phones, we don't even care. I never even thought about that. New phones come out now. We're not even that, like, I have an iPhone X, and I don't give a shit that they've come out with a new one. And I won't give a shit.
It's peaked out.
They're just not, it's like when the iPhone came out, that was a big leap. That was a big deal. People were like, holy shit, this is a game changer. And then every subsequent iPhone got like increasingly better up till like 6 or 7. And then it just kind of got like the same shit. It's true. We don't really care as much as we used to.
The software is running the show now over the hardware.
Not necessarily. I disagree with that.
Well, the apps, the social media, all the things you do on it is what is progressing, whether it is or not.
I think the thing that drives cell phone sales is the hardware of the camera, to be completely honest with you. I think that's what drives, because like Simon's even said it, you've said it, you were both like, I'd get a Huawei just because of the camera, even if the fucking Chinese government was stealing my shit. Like,
fucking right, man. Leica, baby.
That's what I'm saying. And I would in a hot minute. So it's clearly, I think all we really care about in a weird way is having a smaller, better camera in our pocket. I don't even know that we give a shit about the phone.
I don't even know about the camera. Like, I look at the pictures, but it's not like I'm going to do something with it.
Yeah, but yes or no, think about it. You use the camera every day for your video use. You know what I mean? So like, the better the camera, the better your weather videos get, the more technology, the easier it is for you to make videos at home. And I don't know.
It's a documentation of what I've been up to the last year, I suppose. I don't know if the quality really matters.
It's hilarious that if you go to your Instagram, it's just like so many pages of that hula girl.
Well,
Boy.
Kamar dressed up as the hula guy was so fucking funny. Did you see that, Matt, on April Fools?
Of course. I had random people hitting me up about that.
Yeah, it was so
What's Kamar doing? I'm like, I don't know. Why? Because I have a podcast with him. I'm in this guy's head.
It's my biggest moment.
It was great. I loved it. I thought it was
far
hilarious.
cry from Commander Hatfield going to space.
Whatever.
So he said that one day when we do get to Mars, that there'll never be a live conversation between Mars and the Earth.
Well, I think that's a weird statement too. I get what he's saying, but if technology keeps advancing, will we not find a way to potentially?
Oh yeah, right. X factor, Matt.
Well, I don't want to say X factor, but I'm just thinking, in 50 years from now, we might have a way to beam a signal almost instantaneously, no matter what's in front of it.
I guess he was saying if we got to Mars in the next year, you would never be able to talk to Earth, that type of thing. You're right. You're right. It's stupid.
Because of current technology, it's irrelevant. Because if you said we need something next week, it doesn't matter. The communication really doesn't matter. The world's ending. Nothing you can communicate is relevant, and therefore, it's you know what I mean. You're too far away. You are an alien.
Keep in mind, I said that too last year. I said the big problem with going to Mars is that you'd be the first person in history to lose sight of the Earth, and that I think that would have ramifications that we have yet to encounter in the human psyche. So let's say they send 100 people up there. I truly only believe that 5 of those minds would make it through a year where they lose sight of the Earth.
Well,
because the 95 would just get homesick.
Or just lose their mind, I think, yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. I don't know. Maybe my numbers are way off. Maybe it'd be 50-50. Maybe 50% of the people could easily handle it, and the other 50 would be like, this is not for me, but I don't know. Go ahead, Simon.
I was just going to say that now would be a pretty fucking good time to be on Mars.
I mean, I'd still rather be here in my basement self-isolating.
No, I was being sarcastic, but this is exactly why guys like Elon and Bezos and all these fucks with the money, they're trying to get off of this planet.
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons, but sure. I mean, I don't think we need to leave this planet. As we've seen in the last 3 weeks, the planet is fixing its fucking self super quick.
Yeah, you don't think we need to leave the planet, but Elon thinks we need to leave the planet.
Well, that's because Elon's been programmed that way, Simon.
Well, maybe. He wants to go home, baby.
No, I also think that the need to get to Mars, Simon, is not so much because it's not even in their lifetime. So this whole idea that why is Elon trying to get there so he can, I think it's more just a conquest thing than anything.
Well, I mean,
it's crazy.
Elon lives a lot longer than a normal person. Sorry, Kumar.
It's crazy if it's what they said, 1,000-year plan. Like, who stewards that the whole way to maintain that it's of the utmost priority and not hijacked by somebody?
Well, even its integrity, Kumar. How do you ensure that 50 years from now, 200 years from now, someone isn't like, we're just going to build a nuclear weapons base up there, and that's what Mars is going to be used for?
Or we've been stealing money the whole time, and there's really no money to do this. Whatever. It doesn't seem possible with
Well,
humans.
what do you think the moon is, Matt?
Made of cheese? I don't know. What's that question?
No, it's a nuclear base. You nailed it. You just got
gotcha.
the planet wrong.
Gotcha. My bad. Well, fine. What if they're like, we want to build another nuclear base?
Exactly. Another nuclear base. Semantics.
Mm-hmm.
It would require radical transparency for them to let us know that was the case.
Imagine if Joe Exotic volunteers. He wants to. I want to build the first tiger sanctuary on an interplanetary base.
Well, the laws probably don't apply up there. He could pet as many tigers as he wanted.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that what it's called? Petting? Petted? Whatever.
Petted?
I think that's what it is. Petted.
Sure.
In that movie. Whatever. But we don't even know what we don't know about the trip to Mars yet. You know what I'm saying? There's so many variables that I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
We can't even plan for.
But it seems like it's our human nature to do this.
I mean,
I disagree. I disagree.
Sorry, guys. We were supposed to proceed, and then just be content.
Well, I don't think that we're content. I mean, again, we haven't. It seems very odd. We mention this all the time that we don't know jack shit about the ocean, and we want to go to Mars. So it's not like we're content. We haven't even fully explored what we have here. We're just destroying it.
We're too impetuous. That's the problem. And exactly like Matt said, fucking take care of your own garden, man. We might find everything we need to know at the bottom of the ocean.
You know what it reminds me of? My dad. My dad used to constantly start a renovation, get 3/4 of the way through, and then be like, this also needs to be fixed. And then would move on to the next thing. And then the house was just in disarray because there was constantly 18 unfinished projects going on. And then he started growing weed, and that was all she wrote.
But like Matt said, we are destroying the planet, and probably Elon, Bezos, these guys realize there is no turning back on destroying the planet.
You know what my hope is? My hope is that this coronavirus, I really hope that National Geographic has every single person working for them still out in the field. Because I think a year from now, there's going to be some staggering documentation of like how little we have to do to let the earth kind of fix itself. Like go ahead, Simon.
No, I was going to agree with you. And I was also going to say that there is no fucking way that you would have ever convinced big business to do this on their own, like to give the world a break. You know what I'm saying?
So imagine if this was imagine if this was a positive conspiracy. Like not a conspiracy. I mean, it's a conspiracy in the sense that like people are conspiring. But imagine if it was like a Greenpeace conspiracy where they were like we're going to get everyone to stay in.
Well, okay, you're back to 12 Monkeys.
Yeah,
yes.
I am, for sure, yeah. The environmental terrorists.
Could you foresee a monthly shutdown every year?
I don't think a monthly shutdown does it.
Instead of Earth Day, Earth Month?
No, because we've proven that we just go so hard the month before and the month after that it would negate any fucking... It truly shows that, like, we are a big issue and that us not driving our cars or shitting in every lake and ocean and dumping our garbage is...
So by your theory, we'll just erase all the gains we're getting right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Once we go back to normal, I believe everything will ramp. I mean, think about this, Kamar. If you've seen a map recently of current flights in Europe, I think that alone, the fact that there's probably no cruise ships out right now, those two things right there.
Well, cruise ships, listen, we'll get off COVID because we're going to be talking about it all week, but cruise ships for sure, like that'll make a huge difference. We've all talked about the amount of emissions that come out of those stupid things for nothing but, ridiculous pleasure. It's,
Let's think about even this. Do you know how many rich businessmen, big businessmen fly across the country, not across the country, across the world for a 2-hour meeting and then fly back? I hope that people realize through this that like, hey, we can just do this shit. We have the technology to do this shit like we're doing it right now. You know what I mean? There's no reason for, I think we can change travel to like, I don't know.
Space.
anyways, back to space.
Yes, back to space.
It must have been so fucking crazy scary for those first astronauts going up there where nothing was tested, It's different for Mr. Hatfield here. They're going up. I mean, it's still scary. Don't get me wrong. I would never do it in a million years. But at least they know, like, this suit has been used multiple times. We know it's going to work. These guys were going out, walking in space, and really it was like, let's just hope everything goes good.
Well, there was a time.
Go ahead. Go, Kumar.
There was a time when, I still sort of is, but the astronaut was the most revered thing possible. You know what I mean? If you could be anything, you'd want to be an astronaut or to go to space. I feel like I hear Eddie Bravo on the back of my head talking about the conspiracy, but it's something heroic,
Oh, I think Simon's forgetting too that nothing was tested. Not only that, they went to space with a shuttle that had less power than your fucking iPhone. So
right, exactly.
Wrap your head around that.
Your little Honda engine is powering, it's crazy, man.
Simon, we're talking about people that built cars without seatbelts or airbags, sent people to space. It just seems...
Think about this too, Matt, because really the Americans didn't have any ability to get to space until they brought over Werner von Braun. And you just had to put all your faith in this guy who 2 months ago was fucking gassing people and just trust that he's going to do what's best for his new country. You know what I'm saying?
I think that would define him as a scientist.
Extremely suspect. Sorry, what, Kumar?
I think that would define him as a scientist. Besides his beliefs or his aspirations in cleansing races, he still wants the thirst to go to space.
Well, I mean, I think that maybe I can't believe I'm going to give this fucking guy the benefit of the doubt here, but maybe he just wanted to build rockets, and in order to do that, he had to do what the government said. But I don't think so, because I've heard accounts that this guy was firsthand.
He was SS.
Gassing people. It wasn't, he was removed from it. I think he liked it. I mean, that whole thing is just fucking
You're saying
gross.
If he ended up with a bunch of astronauts that were all Jewish, he'd just be torn inside, not to make sure you sabotage the launch?
Maybe it was against America, that was more what I was thinking. But yeah, Jews, sure.
I mean, okay. I don't know. I definitely could not imagine going to fucking space in the 60s. Seems insane.
Yeah, insane.
It seems kind of sane today.
Oh, it always seems insane to me going to space. I'll say this, though. If you watch Apollo 13, which I know was a film, but you have to assume that it was based mostly around fact. They were up there on day 4 or whatever the fuck it was, and they realized that one of their CO2 filters was gone. So pretty much they were just, every time they were exhaling nauseous gas that was slowly killing them. And the guys on the ground at JPL or NASA or wherever, they were given everything that the guys had on the shuttle. And they said, you have 2 hours to make a functional air filter out of this stuff. Go to it. And they did it. And it worked, which is so there's a part of me that's they didn't have the technology, but obviously they still had the same brains working there. They still had the same think tank. You know what I mean? They obviously didn't know what we know today, but they had the brightest minds working hard together to get these people. I don't know.
It's a MacGyver.
It's insane. The
Nope.
smart. Sorry.
The only problem with that movie is you know who stars in it.
Yeah, Tom Hanks, king of Illuminati, obviously.
The king
Hanks
of the
with-
Illuminati.
Hanks with an X.
Yeah.
So Hatfield said that Star Trek guessed right on the way that the Earth looked from the viewing deck or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, like we know that Roddenberry was in on those meetings. I doubt he was guessing on how the Earth looked from space. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't put the two together.
Well, Hatfield, again, I don't know, like, if he's even into fucking science fiction.
Yeah. So much of a company man. How could he be?
He's a company man for sure.
I
don't
wanna
think he's a
say it,
maverick.
but-
I think it's funny he brought up, because I said it, I've said it multiple times on this podcast, that I read an article that he, well, this one he was talking about how he farted in a movie theater. That was the article he was talking about. Is that
Yeah.
right?
That's
Yes.
correct.
So I read one that he stood up in the middle of Gravity and was like berating the whole theater, like, this is bullshit, which I guess now I definitely know is fake. Along with
He made a farting noise, Matt, like a raspberry, like, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds.
Turned into fake news.
I find it, this guy seems too polite to do that. He's Canadian, first of all. Like, we don't behave that way.
He'll be an ambassador someday. He's a great Canadian representative, whether he's a company man or not.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this photo of Chris Hatfield looks legit as fuck.
You're talking about the pound of weed one.
It's not a pound of weed. Now that I'm looking at it, it's a couple ounces.
Okay. Well, that
Back to your
changes
theory.
things. I know the picture. I didn't
Yeah.
remember exactly how much weed he had with him, but that changes things because. But again, there's no way this guy posed like that with the weed.
It's okay. There's here.
He's Hatfield.
This thing says pictures in history. Astronaut Chris Hatfield testing marijuana in space. I
As
can't
if
find
Joe
whether or not
didn't
it's true or
ask him
not.
about that.
Yeah, good point.
Maybe it happened after. Like, how many times has he been to space?
Hold on. I'm going to see if this is legit. I have to know now.
I know nothing, but I don't think you can have combustibles in a rocket ship. It wouldn't be to smoke it.
No, I don't think it would be to smoke it. You could maybe vaporize. You could maybe vaporize it, Kamar.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So just like bake it to that super high temperature. But I'm with you. You can't fire up you're in a vacuum. I can't see that.
It seems counterintuitive as well to be inebriated. Like, do they drink beers up there?
No, I imagine that would really fuck you up.
Because if you just got a little sloppy, broke something, and
Well, and puking in no gravity must be a real bitch to clean up.
you definitely have to pass a drug test before you go up to space.
So a piece of information that I got from this that I found very interesting was that the shuttle, when it was first built, was made to bring up spy satellites, and that's why it's so huge. And it really doesn't have to be that big at all. They just never, they always kept using the same shell, I guess.
Especially now that they have the space station to get to. The shuttle used to be the thing they were in.
That too.
I got my answer. It's manipulated for sure.
Well, you never know.
So,
You never
so
know these days.
what was he holding in that picture, Matt?
You wouldn't be able to guess in 100 years.
A
Really?
water cloth.
A what?
A water cloth.
Oh my God, he got it. No, of course not. Simon, take a guess.
It is a bottle of maple syrup.
No, it is a plastic bag. Like, he's actually holding a big
Oh.
turkey bag, 1 pound bag. It's got fucking Easter eggs in it. And he's like, shh, don't tell them I brought Easter eggs.
What a company man.
He's a rascal.
I wanted it to be weed so bad. What else you got there, Simon? So are you telling me that you didn't learn a lot from this podcast?
I did. I like this podcast. I have no problem with this podcast. It
Sorry,
wasn't.
just when we started, I said I thought this was a great podcast, and you were like, "What? You thought this was a good podcast?" And
I don't know. Sometimes it surprises. Yeah, whatever. You're right. I didn't hate it. He seemed just too button up for my likings, so I felt like we weren't necessarily getting all the information we could. But whatever, man. Can't be choosy at this
You're
point.
proud to call him a countryman?
yeah, man, this guy seems like
yeah.
he's,
I mean, he was a great guy, a nice enough guy.
either
I guess
way.
it all depends. Sorry, Matt.
No, I was just gonna say I don't really care about his personality. The guy's an astronaut doing, what I assume is good work up there. So why not, right, Kumar?
That's why I picked this episode.
Oh, it was a great pick.
I found it inspiring too in this time of uncertainty, whatever. Even though it's dated in that essence, I'd love to see what he thinks about today.
So when they're going to orbit, it goes 5 miles a second. That is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it's 9 minutes until you reach weightlessness.
What's crazy is that with no point of reference, you don't understand how fast 5 miles a second is.
No.
Like if you were in a bullet train doing 5 miles a second, you'd probably be nauseous. Or actually you wouldn't, because it'd just be fucking. But up in space with nothing around you, with no point of reference, it's
5 miles a second, though. Like you're absolutely right. We cannot wrap our monkey brains around that idea,
And it goes from super, super turbulent to just space. No sound.
That's it, to the vacuum. Yeah, it's insane. Like think about this, Simon. Toronto to Ottawa is 279 miles. Right? So that's a 4 to 5 hour drive. So
it'd be like 10 seconds.
Well, what did you say? 279 divided by 5.
It's 5 miles per second.
Yeah, 5 miles. So it's 50. You get Ottawa to Toronto in 55 seconds.
Right. So like, how long would it take to get around the Earth? It would be. It's crazy, man.
25 seconds.
Insane.
Well, not 25 seconds, because we know it takes 50 seconds to get to Toronto.
Let's say it like this. Listeners in California, you could do LA to Vegas in like 50 seconds.
No, it's even less than that, isn't it?
Well, that's why it's a slightly shorter drive. That's why I said 50 seconds as opposed to 55.
It's 4 hours to Vegas?
I think it's 3 hours from LA to Vegas.
I didn't realize it was that. I thought it was closer for some reason.
No, I think it's about that.
I bet going from the Earth's atmosphere to space is sort of like being birthed.
That's interesting, Kumar.
You know what I mean? And the trauma of getting out of the atmosphere, the trauma of coming down the birth canal.
And then you're in the world.
Free. You're in the world.
Yeah.
Simon, it's got to be a unique feeling.
3 hours and 50 minutes, LA to Vegas. Sorry.
Okay, thanks, Maddie. What's a really neat idea is that we're burning dinosaurs to get to space.
Yeah, it's insane.
Isn't that an insane concept?
Yeah.
That's closer to a closed loop system. No, it is not.
No, no, it is not. It's definitely insane. I know I was explaining that to someone the other day. I was like, that's why they're called fossil fuels. And the look on their face, it just looked like I said the moon was made out of cheese. They just had no idea. Same thing I was telling someone. I was like, when you see a bone, it's not bone. It's calcium or whatever it is. It's not actually the bone. And they were like, what are you talking about? I was like, never mind.
It's the mineral deposit.
That's it. Yeah, the bone goes away, and the hole that's left fills with minerals.
So Joe, we'll finally get to the aliens. Joe asked him straight up whether he believed in aliens. He handled the question obviously like a true
company man.
Yeah, but then Joe brought forth this whole idea about birth and the alien abduction, just bringing it back to Kamar's birthing out the canal, which I guess is a possibility, but I think it's a pretty simplistic. I know we've already broached that part of it before.
thank you. You brought up what I think one of the best points he made was, and I wanted to bring this up to you, Simon, was, you always talk about aliens coming and helping us and us potentially being from aliens and this and that. And he brought up the great point, like, why is it that life could start somewhere else, but it doesn't make sense that it could start here? If life could start somewhere else, it could start here, which is also a good point you could use about your aliens. Why can't life start somewhere else?
Who said that? Hatfield?
Yeah. Because he was talking about, because Joe asked him, Joe was like, what do you think about the idea that life started on Mars and then something like, hit it and particles came over here and started Earth here? And
No, I think Joe was saying that it could happen in multiple places, and he was contending that, it only happened on Earth. No?
No.
Anyways, listen, of course it could happen in multiple places. Probability dictates that it could happen anywhere, Like, yes, it's a Goldilocks zone, and a lot of things had to happen in a specific, but they could happen in other parts of the universe for sure.
It's too big.
But he takes the whole why would aliens come here to look at us? And I got to tell you, that has to be my least favorite argument. You know what I'm saying? Because again, look, let's put it this way. Let's say that you're a species of extraterrestrial and you're flying around the galaxy looking for life on other planets. Okay, that's your mission. And we know that you're going to go to a lot of fucking planets and find nothing. Uninhabitable. So when you finally do find anything, I don't care what it is, man. I don't care if it's, what you consider ants or monkeys or whatever. You're going to be interested.
But what if you're worried about viruses on the planet?
Well, you don't have to actually go to the planet. You can research from the air. And maybe that's why they bring them up, sterilize them on the ship, and then send them back to fucking virus land.
I think that'd be a crazy risk.
Listen, trust me, if they're flying through space and getting here in their fucking amazing spacecrafts, they're able to figure out if there are viruses down here or not. But
you think they have strong immune systems?
Maybe there's no such thing as getting disease for them. They live, forever.
Or they're fragile as fuck. I'm just saying. Sorry, that's a reason why they wouldn't want to come.
Maybe the Greys, like I've contended all along, are some sort of like worker android thing, and they don't even have to. You know what I mean? They're never coming down because they're sending their emissaries, which are virus proof.
Well, that's a different story if they're just sending drones, so to speak.
I mean, Simon, I think that, sure, I'll meet you halfway on your argument, but I just think that, if space is infinite, if that's true, I don't think that we are capable of wrapping our heads around infinite. And like infinite could mean that there's no one within an unfathomable distance between us. You know what I mean? Not to say they're not out there, and not to say they aren't doing what you're saying, but it's just we could be so far between any. And again, we don't even know what a living organism constitutes.
Kumar,
like, think about it. Go. Sorry.
I was just going to say, Kumar, go ahead and give him the answer to that.
What answer?
Well, it's your favorite. It's interdimensional travel, right? Like, it might not matter how far away they are. It might literally be like 5 miles per second.
Yeah, that whole argument depends on existing technology as we know it.
Okay, sure.
Well, whatever. And that's why the idea of them not being interested in us seems stupid to me, because we have no idea. We're putting our own ideas into these aliens. And
yeah, but hold on.
Silly.
You're also doing that too, though. You're putting your own ideas into those aliens by saying, of course we would study them. Of course we would do this.
Yes.
Of course. So
you're absolutely right.
I mean, that works both ways. That's a tough argument either way. I don't know.
Okay, then eliminate that part of my argument and go back to the 10 other great points that I made in defense,
Sure.
Thanks.
I mean, again, we could debate fucking alien existence and shit all day. The point is, this guy, actually went to space. I think the problem we have is that we train these people to do these insane jobs. They go up and do them, and then when they come back, people like Eddie Bravo are like, these guys are shills. There's nothing up there. He never went. Like,
I'm not saying he never went. I absolutely
I get
100% believe he went to space. But just because he went to space doesn't make him an expert on the universe. You know what I'm saying? It
I
just makes him
understand
an expert on operating a fucking spaceship to do a very specific goal-oriented thing. Again, they're not Star Trek. They're not the fucking Federation out there like having adventures and shit.
I get it. I think my point, though, is like, we can sit here and have our discussions about space flight and space travel all we want. This guy's gone to space. He understands what it takes, what it does to the human body, and the technologies it would take to travel light years away. And you know what I mean? That sort of stuff. So all I'm saying is, I think his point is that if there was a species capable of traveling interdimensionally, then they're probably so far past us that it's not even like us looking at ants, because we look at ants because we're still learning shit. I think his point would be they're so fucking far past that it's not even worth their time to be like, to spend any amount of even milliseconds worrying or looking at us. That's kind of
now listen, I can handle that argument. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're giving the aliens the respect that they're due in that case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. That's not what this guy was doing, Maddie. You know what I'm saying?
Fine, I'm doing it myself then. I'm just saying that, like, that's the look on it I have, is that if you have the capabilities to do what you guys are talking about, my personal assumption is that you are so far past us.
Yeah, that's the interplanet. That's the interdimension. I'll agree with you there. If they're interdimension, I wonder. But again, who knows, man? Maybe there's something about humans that is very valuable to them, knowledge. Who knows?
Why
or
humans,
there's
though?
something
Hold
that's
on.
very dangerous about humans.
But I was even going to say, I think that is the human ego right there. Who's to say they aren't looking at octopi?
Well, we never hear about them abducting pigs. You know what I'm saying? We hear
Yeah, but
about
that's
them
because pigs
can't talk.
don't talk to us. Yeah, maybe in the pig
They
community
they don't talk to you.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe in the pig community, they're like, dude, Harold's been gone forever. And the farmer didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah, Harold got made into bacon, motherfucker.
No, because they watch it when it gets made to bacon. Harold went somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying is they could be here for something else. Maybe the tigers are what they're after. Maybe
it's probably the dolphins.
I was just going to say, it could be the dolphins. So, I
love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, how it's so long and thanks for all the fish, right? It's the mice that are running the computer program. They're the smartest entity in the universe.
Yeah.
But the dolphins are so smart that they know what's going on, and they were just here for free fish.
Yeah.
And now they're roaming the canals of Venice.
I mean, it's crazy, man, to look at the world right now, what's going on. Like, this would be a good time to clean up that garbage patch.
Yeah, just to get sidetracked for a second. Simon, so do you think cruise ships are done forever?
I think cruise ships are done for...
No one will ever go on a cruise ship again.
Okay, maybe they'll cut it down by 90% and they'll let, it'll become a real rich endeavor to go.
Oh, we're losing Simon.
They'll have such crazy hygiene practices that they'll be able to keep going. That's saying if they are shut down forever, they should become hospitals.
They should become what?
Pandemic hospitals.
Floating pandemic hospitals?
Well, I just don't think people with the virus should be going to hospitals.
Well, like you saw in New York, they brought in what's the name of that ship? The Queen Mary or whatever?
A huge hospital ship.
That's what I'm saying. So that's...
Did you see that the fucking general got in huge trouble, because he used some outside line from the ship to call for help because everybody's sick on the ship?
He didn't get... No, he got fired.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. He got a fucking huge send-off. Every
Yeah,
sailor,
they all
every
clap
sailor on
and
the ship
shit.
was there chanting his name. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy, man. It's a crazy fucking time.
Well, his point was great. We're not at war. Why are we out here? Why are we all sick on this boat? We're Americans. What the fuck are we doing?
What
Which
were
is-
they doing there?
Well, it's again, Simon. They have to go into the guise of like the U.S. The U.S. still has to protect their borders, right? So let's say China. Let's say this was a weaponized virus from China, and then the U.S. pulls all their ships out of every sea and brings them home because people are sick. I mean, I'm not an alarmist or anything, but that is a possibility that you have to think of if you're the U.S.
But I mean, on a normal time, they don't just have ships sitting out at sea, do they? Or
Of
am I-
course,
yeah,
what are you,
they
fucking
do.
nuts?
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Of course.
sorry. I rescind
We
that
do.
statement. I
You're also
rescind that
forgetting
statement.
they're out there like protecting the world, right? So they have carriers in every sea, every ocean. There's constantly like I don't think there's a U.S. aircraft carrier that's just sitting at port. I don't think that's how it works. That's a huge waste of money.
But why don't they pull up like numerous hospital ships to port in New York? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
If
this
they're
is what I'm
running
saying.
out
They
of,
can use the cruise ships they're not using.
oh, brilliant, Kamar. There you go. And those are probably a lot more comfortable than the military one.
I guess they've just got to get fitted with ventilators. That's the business to be in now, I tell you, boys.
Or this Zoom shit.
That guy is getting in so much trouble, that Zoom guy, man.
Yeah, well, as he should.
Well, thank you, our partners at Zoom, for helping us bring this podcast to you.
What's crazy to me is that how does Facebook not have enough personal data? That they have to buy more off a third
Yeah,
party.
well, what the fucking fuck?
That's the first thing I said is I was like, you guys don't have enough info? Like,
No, I didn't even think of that. Like, they're the ones with all the info. Why do they need more?
maybe
Like,
they
They
just
know
have,
it's the most valuable thing in the world.
What
Maybe-
more could they possibly need to know about me?
I mean, let's not forget they have so much money that for them, they probably just have like a buy info budget of like $2 billion a year that they just have to spend, like.
Or they don't get it next year. Yeah,
That's
I
what I'm
get it. I
saying.
know
Yeah,
how
'cause
the
it's like,
government
yeah. I know how a lemonade stand works, Michael.
works.
It's such a valuable, intangible
rewatching
asset.
I've been rewatching that, Matt. It's so fucking funny, Arrested Development. Holy shit.
That's the banana
Anyways.
stand.
Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry.
I was talking about The Office.
Yeah. Because they're both Michael.
Yeah.
Wrong show.
Still, though, Arrested Development is incredible. I just
incredible.
blew myself.
Ta-da. Anyways, so I mean, that's pretty much all I have on Hatfield, unless you guys had more to offer to the conversation.
No, great episode, Kumar.
No, I took it out that he was inspiring. He was classy. He was a Canadian we could all be proud of. And he gave good insight in just the experience of traveling to space.
He's a very, thoughtful speaker. It's like he takes his time. He's very meticulous. He's a good speaker. I don't know.
He's very
almost whimsical.
He's very Canadian.
Very Canadian, yes. Seemed very Canadian.
Yeah.
So is that it? You want to rate it?
Do you guys think it aged well?
Oh, did it age well? Yeah, why not?
It aged perfectly.
It's not like we had someone come on and be like, this guy's a rapist or this guy never went to space or like, I don't know.
He didn't get Me Too'd. He didn't. Whoa. Yeah.
And it's a timeless,
It
interesting
aged well.
topic.
So I'm going to give this one a 3.85.
That's almost a 5 from Simon. Kamar, what do you give it?
I guess you guys know I was going to give it a 4.
Oh, great frozen face, Kamar. I give it a 4 as well. I think it's worth going back and listening to. It's only clocks in at like an hour and 2 minutes or something. Real short. Very palatable. There's a few times I got to say in closing where Joe definitely seemed like a meathead. Like this guy's
fanboying out.
No, but I just meant there's a few times where like this guy's like talking about some serious, not so much serious, but just telling Joe about like going to space, and then Joe comes out with like a almost like a Red Band-esque, like, one time I farted in my vacuum and like it was kind of, you know what I mean? And you're just like, no.
I mean, he is a comedian.
And he's still working on his podcasting style at this time.
Listen, I give him all the credit he deserves. He has evolved, and he is a comedian. I get that. I just, our job is to do what I do and be a dick. So there we go. That's a throwback. I hope the audio on this is not awful. Hope you guys enjoyed.
I wonder about this
great
one.
time.
I think half of me was shocked just in the process of the visual, just different. I don't think I need to see myself.
You don't think you need to see yourself?
Yeah.
Mary comes in on camera in a bra.
I didn't know.
Oh, so we lose Kamar. All right, later, Kamar.
No.
He's still there.
I
Okay.
would see if I could do it and I didn't have to see myself. I'm sure there's a way.
Why do you not want to see yourself, though?
I don't know. Don't want to
That
be
way
self-conscious.
you make sure you're not picking your nose or some shit,
Yeah, it's like podcasting and looking in a mirror the whole time.
I like it. I like seeing me. I like seeing both of you.
Well, that's different, but it's foreign. I hope the fans like it. And I hope everyone's doing well.
Here.
So you're only on camera when the little green box switches to you. Is that the idea?
You're talking when the little... Oh, I suppose, yeah.
But
See, on a computer where I have it, there's 3 big screens, and I have all of you up there. That's a much better situation.
right, though. But what I'm asking is, does our audio keep going regardless of who's talking?
Yeah, I think so. I don't understand
just-
that question.
Video.
It's just the camera
video.
that switches,
Does the video
yeah.
continue going?
No, I realize. I got it. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
All right.
Great episode.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks for listening. We love you guys on the Patreon. We hope everyone is, we hope you're all staying safe. Stay quarantined. You're not stupid. Wash your hands. You know what to do. Thanks for listening. We love you. Thanks for staying on the Patreon. And,
Thanks, Patreon peeps.
We'll see you guys
Thank
next
you.
Monday.
Keep your eyes open.